I'm Dr. Fiona Lovely, and this is the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. I'm taking the taboos of menopause and peri-menopause and bringing light to the dark. No bullshit, no shame. It's time for us to gain a new paradigm in female health, out with the old and in with the new, and I'm bringing fresh perspectives from someone in the arena. I've been practicing women's health for nearly 20 years, and I'm spilling the tea on what it means to live at midlife, knowing that the best is yet to come. I'm sharing my Gen X approach to living through this transition. Sassy, a bit sweary, and always honest. Tactical tips and instantly usable information is my aim. I hope to make you laugh and that you learn something new that helps you embrace the change. Together, we bring power to the peri. Onward to the podcast. Hello, listeners. Dr. Fiona Lovely here. Thank you for tuning in to the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. Got a great conversation for you today. I've just wrapped up a chat with Kim Casaburi, esthetician and entrepreneur. And if you've ever felt like at some point in your perimenopause, you were a shell of yourself, to quote Kim, this is the conversation for you. Kim shares her story of how she found herself depleted and in her perimenopause, and how she decided to fix the problems of what she was feeling after not getting much help at all from her local gynecologist, and then a second gynecologist, and then the third doctor is the one who really stepped in to say, your hormones are really low, and that's why you're feeling all of these symptoms. But as an esthetician, Kim was able to share with me what things typically go sideways with in terms of our skin and our healing at perimenopause and menopause, and how she has managed her own skin health. She looks fabulous, by the way, fabulous. I wanted to know all of her health secrets. We talked about common procedures that women can have to help with the skin changes of midlife and menopause, whether it was microneedling or HydraFacials or exfoliation. We talked about red light therapy. We talked about hyperbaric chamber, oxygen chambers. We talked about a lot of things. But I think my favorite part of our conversation was when she shared her story of her loss of confidence that came along with the loss of testosterone, and how we get that juice back, that verve, that interest in our, how did she put it? She said, we're applying the male gaze to ourselves. And I'm like, woo, can you imagine the world if we all did that? I love that. And I know as someone who takes testosterone, that is very true for me too. That's what we need, is we need women who feel good, who look good, who are ready to take on the challenge of changing the things that aren't so good anymore. So let me introduce my guest. Kim Casaburi is the co-founder of Serotonin Centers, a revolutionary wellness franchise born from her personal journey through menopause and her discovery of the transformative power of hormone replacement therapy. After struggling with health challenges that standard fitness and dieting couldn't solve, Kim sought answers outside traditional medicine, which often dismissed her concerns. This led her to explore hormone health and non-invasive treatments, sparking a passion to help other women regain control of their well-being. With a background in retail and over 2 decades of experience opening fitness centers with her husband, Eric Casaburi, she also became a certified esthetician to engage directly in Serotonin's services. At Serotonin Centers, Kim now champions 360-degree wellness, offering individualized hormone therapy, health coaching, and an empathetic approach to support women in feeling strong, healthy, and empowered through every stage of life. As I said, we talked about everything from hormone restoration to weight control to aesthetic enhancement, immunity, and recovery. And I'm here for it all. What a great conversation. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Kim Casaburi. Hi, The AG1 you've all heard me talking about for so long just went through a major upgrade. AG1's next gen is here. It's the same single scoop once a day, but now it's clinically backed and formulated with more upgraded vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. The new next gen formula offers a more advanced, clinically backed formula that fills common nutrient gaps and supports gut health, all in the same easy, once a day ritual. AG1 has been a game changer for my mornings. It sets the tone for my day, helps me feel my best, and like I'm taking care of my nutrient needs in one step. AG1's next gen includes 5 clinically studied probiotics and additional vitamins and minerals to support whole body health. Now clinically backed with an advanced formula, this is the perfect time to try AG1 if you haven't yet. I've been drinking AG1 daily for 6 years now, and I'm so happy to be partnering with them. Subscribe today and try the next gen of AG1. If you use my link, you'll also get a free bottle of AG D3K2, that's vitamin D3K2, an AG1 welcome kit, and 5 of the upgraded AG1 travel packs with your first order. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com. That's drinkag1.com/Fiona Lovely to get started with AG1's next gen and notice the benefits for yourself. That's drinkag1.com/Fiona Lovely. This is the Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast. I'm Dr. Fiona Lovely, and today my guest is Kim Casaburi of Serotonin Centers, and she is an esthetician and entrepreneur, and I'm so excited to talk to her because we are going to discuss what happens to our skin at midlife. We're going to talk about lots of things, Kim, but that's the big one for me today. Kim, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I have been looking forward to this conversation since I first heard you and your husband having a conversation on his podcast. What's the name of his podcast again?
Aging backward, growing forward.
I like it. Okay, very good. I thought that's what it was, but I thought, oh my God, I'm going to make a mess. And I heard you say these words. You said, if a woman is taking aesthetic treatments, but she is not hormone optimized, it's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. What?
I made that up on the spot.
Well, I tell you, it was good. It was a hook, mommy. It was so good.
It's true. When you are HydraFacial, microneedling, Botox, filler, anything, even moisturizing in your bathroom at home,
Yes.
you are not absorbing anything properly when your hormones are not optimized. You are wasting time and you're wasting money. You're only getting about 30% efficacy of the products that you're using.
Wow. And I don't know about the other ladies listening to this conversation or even you, but I have taken my skincare game into a totally other level in the last few years because all of a sudden the unscented cream that I've used on my face, that I use on my feet, that I use on my knees, that I've been using for decades, all of a sudden it just wasn't working and I was dry as all hell.
That's right. No, come on. Well, your skin looks fantastic. What do you use?
It's, to be honest with you, it's genetics more than anything.
That's
yes.
not fair.
Yeah.
It's actually rude.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I got the skin genes, not the skinny jeans, is what I like to say.
Well, we can fix that these days.
Yes, I know. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Working on that too. But anyways, let's have that conversation about the skin. What? Well, actually, first, before we go there, I know you have your own story, your own journey of how it is that you are on shows like Not Your Mother's Menopause podcast talking about your own menopause experience. So can I ask you about that, Kim? Would you like to share?
Sure. Absolutely.
Please.
When I was 40, I had a baby, my 4th child. It was definitely not planned and something I wasn't prepared for. And by the time I was 42, I was completely depleted. I was depressed. I was 30 pounds overweight. I was having hot flashes, brain fog, sleep loss, digestive problems. I was sick often. My hair was thinning. My skin was crepey, and I was a shell of
Mm.
myself. And I guess I just figured it was part and parcel with my age and having 4 kids. And we were running a fitness center franchise at the time, and they're busy and tired. And I guess, my youth is gone. So that's just the way it is. But not being able to function at all. And I'm talking digestion, sleep, regular function when I have a baby to bring up the way I did my other three was killing me. And I started looking around for answers. And I went to my gynecologist, who told me that's the way it is. Women naturally decline, and
Ugh.
that's life. And he said, you're no longer viable. And I said, what does viable mean medically? And he said, childbearing. I said, oh, okay. And I was pissed off about that. Oh, what really
Yeah.
pissed me off was because the second that I left, and then I went to another gynecologist, a female who was a little younger. And she said, no. He said, you know how it is when you turn 40, your husband chases a 20-year-old. The
Come
female
on.
gynecologist told me, you're no longer viable because you're not childbearing anymore, and that's just the way it is. And I was so furious by that. It just
Yes.
lit this fire in me. So, okay, I have to figure this out on my own. So I went and had a colonoscopy because I was having all these digestive problems. So now I'm on, some kind of medication for the gut lining or whatever. And then I had breast implants for years. I got them removed because I was hearing, oh, that can give you, I don't know, fatigue-based illnesses and cancers and all sorts of things. So, okay, let's do that. I started going to therapy. I started trying every diet fad in the planet. Mind you, did I mention we owned a fitness center franchise? I still, with all of those resources at my fingertips, was not able to lose even 5 pounds, not to mention the 30 that I needed to. So I was just so completely lost, and I'm just digging, trying to find answers, and I wasn't getting any until I went. My therapy was really helpful, creating boundaries and saying, no, I don't feel like doing that today, and that's okay. And thankfully, my husband at no point during this ever said anything to me. He never, and I get upset about that. I don't know why, but he never did. He never made me feel bad about it. He never tried to run. It was me. I would wake up in the morning some days and was a little disappointed that I woke up, to be honest with you.
Yes.
It was very challenging. And I lived like that for over, I think it was about a year and a half, trying to figure all this out. So I started doing all these things, and I met my husband actually met an anti-aging doctor. We went there just get physicals because we hadn't had it in a while. And she said, you need to get your hormones checked. So she sent me to a OBGYN who had checked my hormones. And he said to me, and he's educated a little bit later in life. So he was not a part of the old fashioned Western medicine that when you go to the doctor, they look for whether or not you are disease free or not. And if you are not, you're fine. So I have so many women come to me and say, oh, my doctor says I'm fine, but you're not fine. It means you're disease free. That's what that means. That means they don't have a surgery or a pill for you. So you're fine, but you're not optimized in your life, and you can be, but that's not what they do. And no, their education that's not their area. They don't want anything to do with endocrinology. So they send you on your way with either birth control pills or Xanax, but not this guy. He was wonderful. So he sat next to me and he said, I don't know how you're operating every day. And he said, are you okay? And no one ever said that. They just said, you're a dried up old prune and no one's going to want to touch you ever again. So just go ahead and die. So It was so wonderful to have that. So I got the pellet immediately, and it changed my life within 2 weeks. My list of things to do did not change, but my attitude about it greatly changed. Yes. And I lost 18 pounds. I swear right off the bat, didn't even change anything. And then when I looked in the mirror, I felt capable.
Mm-hmm.
I felt happy,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt motivated. I went back to college and I finished my degree. And
Amazing.
then through this, people who know me started saying, "What is going on with you? What's happened?" So I started talking about it and then talking about it. And then we were laughing earlier, you and I, about
Yeah.
talking about vaginas on all nine in the
Yeah.
grocery store, because that's what we were talking about.
Yep.
And it all that helps, not only your sexual wellness, but I really believe that your mental health is so incredibly damaged by hormone loss starting
Yes.
at 35.
Mm-hmm.
Then the depression sets in, and that is all part of what it does to your brain. And everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm fat so I don't feel good, I'm tired so I don't feel good." No, 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 it's up here.
Yep.
So when you have your hormones optimized and you have lived for 45 years and you have all this wisdom and knowledge and you're seasoned, this is the time in your life when you should be, enjoying it and feeling great about yourself. And when your hormones are optimized, you look in the mirror and you think, "I can do this. I got this." And that's the key. I
So
looked in my
powerful.
it really is. I looked in my daughter's bathroom. She's 24 now, and she had all these little stickers on her mirror. It said things like, "You got this. You look gorgeous today. How am I going to crush it today?" And in her handwriting, and little sticky notes all over her mirror. And
Wow.
I didn't think, "Oh my gosh, isn't she so great?" I thought, I did that.
Ha, I
That's
love
because
that.
of me. And
Yes.
I thought that is so powerful, because women don't give themselves that. And there
No.
is something about having enough testosterone when you're
Yeah.
50 to look yourself in the mirror and say, "I did that."
Ah,
It's
I
having the
love that.
male gaze for
Yes.
yourself
Oh yeah.
is very powerful.
Okay,
And it
you
is,
just said a
and
mouthful.
not only, yes, I know,
Yeah.
I know,
So
I know,
good. It's so
I
good.
know.
So, as somebody who also uses testosterone, and I found like it was literally overnight. It took about 3 to 4 days, and then all of a sudden I was like, she's back.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
so good. And it's
Yep.
so hard to describe that to a woman who has had a slow decline of her confidence, of her well-being, the feelings of well-being, the feelings of wanting to care for ourselves. Those things have slow declined for so many years that we consider it to be our normal. And so having the experience of being low T and then having it supplemented. Now, unfortunately, it's difficult to get access to testosterone. It's hard enough to get estrogen and progesterone, the stuff that we've had on board our whole entire lives. But then testosterone is like another level. But it's a really, really important one. Um, I want to say something about mental health, but please, if you'd like to respond to what I was saying, then let's do that before I talk about mental health, because I have a feeling we'll go off and talk about that.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me when to stop talking, because the testosterone, number one, is crucial.
Yes.
Not only for the reasons I just mentioned. We've had women that start the hormone replacement therapy, and I hung these mirrors down the hall in one of our serotonin locations. Four of them. They're full length mirrors. And so when we were walking back to the conference room, she was walking and she was looking at herself. And she
Oh,
walked by and she said, "I really
perfect.
don't feel anything yet." And I said, "Oh, yes, you do. Because
Yeah.
you checked yourself out in every single mirror walking down this hallway."
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
this light bulb went off. The testosterone is fantastic. The estrogen, the progesterone, all of those things are wonderful. Things you don't realize that are happening, though, like those are things you see. What's happening underneath is your heart,
Mm-hmm.
your bones,
Yep.
your brain.
Brain. Yep.
There are study after study about how it can stave off osteoporosis,
Mm-hmm.
right? Cardiac disease.
Mm-hmm.
It lowers fatty liver. We
Mm-hmm.
have a woman who she no longer has fatty liver disease. They're going to do a study on her, because
Awesome.
with testosterone in women, they have them with men, of course, but
Yep.
not with women. And you're not going to be hunched over. Your bones are going to be healthy. Once your heart is strong, your heart's a muscle. Get that testosterone, and they're pumping that blood
Yep.
properly, and the amount of sugar in your blood is lowered by it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is it's a game changer for
It
longevity and health.
it absolutely is. It absolutely is. And I don't think, even as a practitioner of women's health, I don't think I really appreciated how important testosterone is to a woman's sense of well-being and physical and mental health until I had my own drop in it. And I like the bottom fell out. The listeners have heard me tell the story, Kim, but basically one day I woke up and I was like, I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror. Like, where did I go? I just wanted to hide. I mean, I love fashion and makeup, and I'm just
Hmm.
that person. I've always been that person.
Hmm.
I didn't care about any of that. I was
Hmm.
wrap me in a draperies and I'll be fine. Like, not even the fancy draperies. Wrap
Hmm.
me in a sheet. And I
Yes.
was like, and I had a very good friend get married a couple of summers ago, and I couldn't have cared less about what I was wearing. And that's so not like me. I would normally plan
Mhm.
for months, like hair, makeup, jewels, I had my nails, like
I
all of the
know it.
things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
none of that was even present. And that's when I knew something was really wrong. And it was a slow decline for me. And that's when I talked to my nurse practitioner. Thank God for my nurse practitioner who does my prescribing for me. And she said, Fiona, I don't yet take estrogen. I don't need it yet. But she did say to me, Fiona, I figured it was estrogen. She said, no, this is testosterone. When a woman loses her confidence, this is testosterone before anything else.
100%.
Yes. And so I'm like, okay, well, what's going to happen? I'm not really
Hmm.
sure. Okay, I'll just start taking it. I trusted her, right? So that was
Yep.
a few years back, and now I can't imagine being without it. So we're having the conversation now about testosterone therapy, which I think is really important. What we do know is that it plays very much into a woman's mental health. And at this time in a woman's life, Kim, we have a higher rate of suicide in our 40s and early 50s than at any other time in our lives. And it's easy to see what contributes to that. It's not just this physical and mental decline, but then it's the personality decline, and then our bodies change in a way that doesn't feel aesthetically pleasing to a lot of us, etc. We're not sleeping, we're not, all of the things. And us Gen Xers, we're now running corporations. We're running clinics. We're at the pinnacle of our careers. We've got kids who are maybe still in the house, maybe not. We've got aging parents that we're dealing with. We literally have a shitstorm going on at the
Hmm.
time where we need all the hormones, all the fuel we
Hmm.
can get,
It's so true.
and it's not there.
And you're out of gas.
Totally out of gas.
The the testosterone is so important, as you mentioned, as far as getting your confidence back. People think the sex hormone, and it does of course help with libido as well. But to me, that is mental, especially for women. Their arousal is mental. And when you look at yourself and you feel good about yourself, you think,
Damn.
oh, all
Heck
right, yeah,
yeah.
I do me. Let's go. That is very, and it's confidence. That's what that is.
Yeah.
You're confident in what you're saying
Yeah.
and how you're feeling
Yeah.
and why you're saying and feeling it.
Yeah.
That's what you see. But as I mentioned earlier, what you don't see is women die more of heart disease than they do of
Yes.
breast cancer. And I
By
think a lot
far.
of people don't know that.
Yeah, by far, by far. Yep,
It's
absolutely.
it's so important on so many levels.
On so many levels.
I always say, listen, you guys feel great right now, right?
Yeah,
But you don't even know what's going on inside. That's great.
yeah,
It's the things that are silent are just as powerful as the things that you see. And
absolutely.
I was definitely suffering through that, 40 to 50-year age area that are suicidal risks and depressive risks and all those things. And one of the other doctors that I met, this is a third guy, he said, he wrote me a prescription for Xanax. And I said, I don't want that. That's going to make me even lower. I don't
Yeah,
want to be low. I want to be high.
yeah, yeah,
I don't want that. But he, honest to God, didn't know any other way to handle me. He had no idea how to treat me and
yeah,
didn't want to learn. Endocrinology is, you have to really pay attention to it and you have to track it. And if
mhm,
you're a physician, you're an endocrinologist, you're a GP, you're a gyno, you're an autonomous nurse
yeah,
practitioner, a PA, you have your own place.
yep,
You're trained in whatever you're trained in, and that's it.
yep,
You hit the insurance, how many of you see 100 people a day, and you pay your rent, and that's it. In order to keep up with the technology of it's a lot.
yeah,
And a lot of medical people don't do it.
yeah,
So we felt compelled to have a place where people could come and get blood work. I insisted on blood work. And of course they say, oh, you're fine, you don't need it. But I insisted upon it. Just a hormone panel. Now my insurance paid for a portion of it. It was $518. That's a 4-marker panel.
Yeah.
$518. Wow. Insane.
Yeah.
So when we started Serotonin, my husband was negotiating. We found these 2 great labs that we use, and we now can negotiate our blood work panel down to it's 65 markers.
Awesome.
And we can get it for $195. And
amazing.
I hope and pray one day that insurance pays for all of women's needs, because that's another motivator for us, was that the women are so underserved in the medical community, especially when you're our age. And then
Yes.
what am I doing? What are we doing? You really have, we need the help, and blood
Yes.
work needs to be available to us. And that's what's big for us. We start with that blood work, and everybody needs to get it.
Yes, I agree. And it needs to be monitored as well, because,
Yes.
I think, I mean, I get the sentiment of why they're saying, well, go by symptoms. I think symptoms are important too. It's not one or the other. You've got to look at both. And when you're talking about the people, the practitioners now who can prescribe hormones, a lot of them do not have the training to look at those blood samples, the blood work, the labs, and to say, this is what's needed here. This is what's needed here. So I think sometimes the whole, you don't need to have blood work is more a matter of, I don't know how to read it anyways. So let me just go off of symptomatology.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there is some really important tests that can be done. I don't think it needs to be a fancy test. I think just some pretty basic stuff. You can look at it and say, okay, we need to work on inflammation at the same time we're working on hormones. At the same time, we may be working on what is your blood sugar doing, these sorts of things, because that's such an important part of the longevity conversation. Okay, let me shift a little bit. Isn't it interesting to see the menopause conversation flex to longevity? I am so enjoying that little
Well, women
flex
are living
myself.
longer.
Yes.
We're living longer now.
And we want to.
Yeah. Well, we want to because our hormones are optimized. If they weren't, I probably wouldn't want to.
I know.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was recently in a group of women podcasters, and one of the elders came in and she just said, I don't know why you guys are all talking about HRT. I didn't have to do it, so I don't know why everyone feels like they have to do it. And it's like you could feel the room just sort of pause and like take a breath, and we're like, okay, who's going to tell her? Like, oh, we're not doing it because we have to. We're doing it because we can, and we want to protect our brain, our bones, and our heart very differently than our grandmothers and our mothers had to suffer without them for the most part. So,
well, I can tell you,
yes,
my mother is 76 years old, and she has a pellet.
Nice. Good job. Good job. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's well, I'm sure we'll come back to longevity, but do you want to share a little bit when you were going through all of this with your menopause? When did you start to notice your skin change, and what happened?
The skin change was one of the first things that you notice, because your hair thins, your eyebrows thin, and that's because your skin isn't holding on to the cuticle of the hair, the hair that you have. Yeah. So you're losing hair and it's thinning. I have my eyebrows. I had, what is it called?
Microneedling?
It's not microneedling. It's micro something where you tattoo your eyebrows on, because I didn't have any eyebrows at all. So okay, what do I do? My eyebrows fell out. Okay, I went
microblading.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Microbladed.
Sorry, I can't focus on anything.
I did that. That was perfect. You got it. And then I remember I had my hair was a little longer. I had extensions in my hair because it was thinning. What do I do? Putting all these Band-Aids on. The skin is something that you see. You're in the shower, you see it in all the bendy parts, and I'm constantly getting rashes. If I rub up against something, now it's going to be red, and I'm going to scratch it to be irritated, because my skin is just doesn't have the elasticity that it needs, and it's thin and sensitive, even more so than it was. And those things I noticed right off the bat as well, but I didn't know what I didn't know then. And we all know the skin is the largest organ in the body, but I didn't know how important it is to protecting the inside of you from all the bacteria and poison out in the world. It is a very big job. And one of the first, I remember talking to this, she was an anti-aging doctor, and she looked at my cuticles and they were dry and cracked. And she looked at my heels and they were cracked. And she said, that is an indication of poor health. It's not laziness.
Okay.
I got pedicures and got my nails done.
Yeah.
But my cuticles were dry and cracked. I had cracks, deep cracks in my heels. My toes were painted. I got a pedicure regularly every 3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
But that is an indication of poor health. Nutrition, because even nutrition, you cannot, the gut-brain axis is a very important part of your body. And your gut and your brain are best friends, and they bully all your other organs. So when you don't have great nutrition, and even if you do, you're not absorbing all your nutrients properly anymore. So that is it really affects your skin. And I didn't get my skin back to a healthy state until after I got the pellet. That's something I noticed. I noticed more fullness in my face. I noticed I take almond oil. I get it on Amazon, and a pump in the shower. And while you're wet in the shower, I put it all over my body, and it just absorbs, and my skin feels full, and it feels youthful, and it feels hydrated. If I were to put oil on my skin 10 years ago, it would just suck it right up and still be dry. Your skin doesn't have the ability to, or no elastin and no collagen to do what it needs to do and to look healthy when you do not have your hormones optimized. And I think people are just used to that and expecting that. But there's so many things that you can do. Microneedling, HydraFacials are great for cleaning, and they do a very light glycolic peel at the end. It's wonderful. But I do microneedling every 6 weeks. Microneedling with PRP, and I'll get an IV while I'm doing it.
Yes, and this is the vampire facial, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Well,
tell us about it. No, I have not, but I've certainly seen it. Please tell the listeners what happens, Kim, when you have the PRP with microneedling.
Okay. The device has about over a dozen little needles in it. It looks like a pen in the end of it. Okay? And it makes millions of little micro channels across your face. So first thing we do is put lidocaine on your face, numbs it, neck as well. I just had a chemical peel like 3 days ago.
Gorgeous.
So it's not, and you're not supposed to peel and look, crazy. It just looks a little windswept, and that's okay. So it's just to activate the natural sloughing off of your skin. It's supposed to slough off every 28 days on your pillow at night in the shower. You don't even know it's happening. But after 35, it's not happening on its own. So we need to give it a little boost. So we do that by causing some micro trauma to the skin. We use the skin pen, and we put it all over, making these millions of little micro channels. So we just we go this way, and then we go this way, and then we go circular. And in between each of those patterns, we add your PRP. Platelet-rich plasma. We'll draw your blood, spin it, separate the white and the red blood cells, and what's on top, it's literally gold. It's plasma, PRP. Take that out, we draw it out, and we literally put it right back into your skin, rejuvenating your skin and stimulating the collagen and elastin. So while that trauma is happening and you put the PRP on your skin, it just gives that healing process just bionic properties to really, really bring yours to heal. And as I said, bring in the collagen and elastin. Doing that regularly, helping your skin turn over like it's normally supposed to do. Just all we're doing really when we're supplementing your hormones, and when we're having these lovely esthetician procedures, we're just helping your body do what it used to do when you were younger.
Yes.
So we're having an IV. I do an IV every month, sometimes twice, because anything that we take orally, we're losing, I think it's about 70% of any supplements that you take through your digestive system. You're just not absorbing it anymore the way it used to when you were young. So I do it via IV. So your skin isn't turning over. Well, let's get some microneedling with PRP, and we're going to help it do what it needs to do. We're going to get you. I have the pellet. We're going to have those hormones throughout your body over 3 to 4 months time, helping all your organs and your brain and your bones and your heart do all those things that they used to do. We're just helping it. And that is what optimized hormones means. And that's what having longevity means to me, living healthy and living well throughout the next, 30 years of your life when you're, 50 years old.
I love it. And as you said, you walk by and you look at yourself and you go, damn,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
do me.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And to not be ashamed of it either.
No. No, oh
No,
gosh, no. No, 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 no.
no, no, no.
Um,
And then of course we do red light therapy. So once you do that,
yep.
we have
Okay.
the red light therapy, we have hyperbaric chamber,
Okay.
which is fantastic. All these things.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes, okay. Well, I want to ask about, oh gosh, I have so many questions because aesthetics are just so interesting to me. But let's talk about, you mentioned HydraFacials. Tell me about HydraFacials. What happens in a HydraFacial, please?
a HydraFacial, they have it the device, and what it does is it pulls out debris from your skin. It has the end of it, it kind of goes in a circle, let's say clockwise, pulls
Okay.
all these pollutants out of your skin, free radicals, sweat, makeup, dirt, all these things. And then it's pushing all of these wonderful, they have all these fantastic solutions that they go that come along with the facial, and it's pushing them in, let's say clockwise as the the tip goes. So it really just vacuums your skin, takes off all the crap, and then
Yep.
infuses all these wonderful things, peptides and vitamins and all these things right back into your skin. Also,
Okay.
it
Yes.
preps the skin for a light. If you start out low, and then you'll work up to a 5% glycolic peel, which
Hmm.
you won't even see, but really just stimulates the skin. It gives you this bright, great look, and it is a fantastic monthly facial. It's not just when you're doing a facial with your hands, you're adding things. You need to
Hmm.
remove all these dirt and debris and all the free radicals and things I mentioned. Get those out and put the good stuff back in. And
Oh
your
yeah.
skin looks great. It feels great. There's boosters that you can add. We can do your neck. We could do your body. You can do anywhere. I've done
Oh,
hydrofacials on underarms, and
all
that
kinds of
glycolic
things.
feel helps if there's darkness there. Helps with it. It's really, really great.
So this is the kind of thing that goes on at the Serotonin Centers, which is you're doing hormone optimization, you're doing HBOT or hyperbaric therapy, oxygen therapy, you've got the red light therapy, you've got the aesthetics as part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
are we missing from the picture? What have we not talked about that you guys are up to?
The first thing we start with is blood work. The only thing we haven't talked about is we also have a health coach. Because if you're going to come
Excellent.
to us, you're going to optimize. Your weight is going to optimize as well. Once you get your hormones right, that 20 pounds, maybe more, that you're holding on to, it's going to fall off. And then we want to help you with nutrition. We also have GLP-1 blockers to help people lose weight that they want to lose, because I am telling you, it is very difficult to lose weight after 40. And these GLP-1s are so wonderful for keeping people from becoming diabetic, keeping people from becoming sedentary,
Mhm.
keeping the amount of sugar in your blood low,
Yep.
even if it's just for a period of time while you lose that weight, is so beneficial for your heart and your overall wellness, which to me means disease free.
Yep.
And then we teach them. You come meet with our health coach. You get on the N body scan. It shows you your fat, your muscle, your bone density, intracellular, extracellular water. Get on that thing, and we see where you are with, and then we track you, and then we teach you with our health coach how to eat, what's good for your lifestyle. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, and as far as foods go, and let's fit that into your life, because
Hmm.
to we don't want to just be a quick fix. This is something you're
No.
going to do forever. This is a commitment you're making to yourself. So we
Yep.
need you to meet with the health coach. We want to see your blood work, and we want to track your progress. And we want you to change your lifestyle so that so you can keep up with it, keep doing it, and keep feeling
Yes.
great.
Yeah, it's the things we really need from our healthcare providers at midlife. We need someone who's going to teach us what's the right thing to eat and when, because that also changes profoundly with
Mm-hmm.
menopause. Um,
100%.
no longer are the days, I remember the days of, oh, I've got this event coming up. Okay, well, I just won't eat lunch for a few weeks and I'll be fine. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't
Yes.
that
Yep.
fun?
Wouldn't it be nice to just be able to get an invitation and be ready to go,
Oh
no
my
matter what it
God.
is,
Yes, yes.
even if it's wearing a swimsuit
Oh, Jesus. Okay, yeah.
on the
You gotta
fly?
yeah,
Can you
on
imagine?
the fly. Oh my God. Without having the shave or the wax job. Oh God,
Yep,
can you
you're all
imagine?
ready to go.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, this is I think a big conversation, certainly this that we're having in healthcare is allopathic medicine is definitely moved into the protocolized medicine. So there's checklists. There are, okay, this person has this thing, which means they get this, and this. And there's no real room for the individualization of it. Whereas practitioners like you and I imagine the practitioners that are working in the serotonin centers as well, we're looking at the individual and saying, okay, what is the primary here? What do we need to work on? Where do we start? And who else do we need to bring into the fold to help, the person that's in front of us? I love it. I think it's extraordinarily overdue. It's the ideal time and it's overdue.
It is.
Are you navigating the changes of menopause? You're not alone in experiencing shifts like weight gain, sleeplessness, and body changes. As sex hormones such as estrogen change, they can affect appetite and how your body uses energy. It is not surprising then that in addition to other changes, many women notice increased appetite and reduced energy expenditure. Studies have shown women typically gained around 3.3 pounds a year during the peri-menopause transition, potentially reaching an average gain of 22 pounds by the time we reach menopause. This is distressing. This includes increases in fat mass, especially around the abdomen, reduction in muscle mass called sarcopenia, exactly the things which contribute to frailty as we age. To help manage this, it has been estimated that women need to reduce their caloric intake by around 200 calories a day during the transition. But stress, feeling hungry, or battling cravings can make that challenging. I would like to introduce CaloCurb, a plant-based, all-natural supplement. CaloCurb is a patented, world-first GLP-1 activating supplement. It contains amerisate, a natural extract from a specific variety of New Zealand bitter hops. Taken an hour before meals, amerisate is released into the small intestine from a patented capsule. It works by stimulating bitter taste receptors in your gut to activate your body's own gut hormones like GLP-1, CCK, and PYY3. The hormones that help you feel fuller, longer, and slow down gastric emptying. Clinically proven, CaloCurb has been shown in studies with women undergoing fasting to reduce overall hunger by 30% and overall food cravings by 40%. It has been shown to help reduce calorie intake by 18% on average in studies. CaloCurb is designed with no artificial ingredients, sugars, calories, stimulants, or caffeine. Alongside physical activity, strength training, and protein-forward nutrition, CaloCurb can help you work towards your goals. Empower yourself during menopause, ladies. Let CaloCurb help you stay lean and energized through midlife. Visit calocurb.com and use the code LOVELY10 for 10% off your first order.
We call it the chair of truth. When you sit in that chair, you just automatically, we're talking about everything. And it's a therapy session and we love it. I have had letters and emails and notes and conversations with women. This has saved not me, but this has saved my relationship with my spouse, with my adult children, with my colleagues, with myself. And that's that's a big thing for women to be able to talk about it. So therapy is a big part of it. You have to have an advocate. It's important to have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Because I think women unfortunately need permission to take care of themselves.
Yes,
which is the way, unfortunately, it is. But to have a place to go is a safe haven for women to talk about it. And the more of us there are, the bigger it keeps
Yes. And when we are hormone optimized and we go through menopause, we don't need the permission anymore. We can give ourselves the permission to want to look good, to want to feel good, no matter what. And I know shame slaying is a lot of what happens in my office. And I'm sure it's the same thing for you, where it's just like, I'm not here to judge you. I am here to just be like, sister, I'm going to hold your hand. Let me show you what
Mm-hmm.
I've learned as a
Mm-hmm.
woman on my own journey, and let's
Mm-hmm.
see how we can fill in some gaps here.
Well, sure, because it's seen as selfish, vain, and
Ah,
I guess it is a little bit, but that's okay. What's wrong with being a little bit selfish and a little bit vain?
you
We
don't
when
hear
you have aesthetics
you,
things like we do cool sculpting. So you lose the weight you want to lose, and there's other stubborn areas of cool sculpting. We do fillers and Botox and all those things. What people need to understand is the way you feel in your own skin changes the way you operate in the world.
in
And
all your
and
relationships.
it affects people around
Yeah.
you. Whether
Yeah.
you don't even know how many people that you've affected. You might never know, but it
Mhm.
definitely does. And that's
Mhm.
very important, not only for you, but for the people around you.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, it's seen as vain or selfish to look good, but the beauty part is a bonus. It really is. That's not the best part of it, and you have to experience it to know that. Because
Yeah.
I know that you can't see the forest through the trees when your hormones aren't optimized and you're in
Yeah.
perimenopause or menopause. I know that you can't, but there is such a bright light at the end of the tunnel, and I am so happy to be a part of the
Yes.
conversation.
Yes, I love that. So, if you have a younger woman in front of you who is in the mess, the muck of perimenopause, and she's like, I don't even want to be here, like this is terrible. What's your message of hope for her? What is she looking forward to? Please share that information.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll tell her what happened to me, and I'll show her. I have a picture of what I looked like 10 years ago, what I look like now. Really just my personal experience. That's the most powerful thing because it's honest and true. And when you're sitting in front of somebody who's been through it and they're happy, well, you know what? The first thing I would do is give her a hug. That's the
Yes.
first thing.
Yes.
You're okay, girl. You are
Yeah.
not by yourself,
Nope.
and it's everything is going to be okay. And I could
Yeah.
just tell her what's happened to me, and you can look around you and see all the women here,
Yeah.
and how we have several locations. And then, as we mentioned earlier, so many women our age, celebrities are speaking out about it now.
Yep.
So another important point is you're not alone.
Mm-mm.
Everybody is going through this.
Mhm.
Everybody,
Yep. Yep.
and we have solutions now. These
Yes.
these the pellets that we use are derived from sweet potatoes, for heaven's sake. There are things that we
Right?
can do. You're gonna be
Yes.
okay.
You're going to
You're
be
gonna be
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
You're
what
gonna
I
be better
find.
than okay.
Yes, and you're going to feel better than you have in years. That's what I said to a girlfriend of mine the other day. I said, "I haven't felt this good in 25 years.
Yeah.
Like this is
Oh,
great."
oh yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, Kim. The reason I ask you that is because I'm seeing a lot of the millennials, etc., that are just starting to go through this and they're struggling. And you and I know that struggle because we've been through
Mm-hmm.
it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks, and it sucks for a long time.
It does.
However, because we're out there getting scrappy as Gen Xers, just listen to your Gen X sisters. Listen
Mm-hmm.
to us because we have been through the crap and we've gone, okay, this is what you do for this. This is what you do for this. When your doctor tells you it's just part of aging, that's bullshit. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, when I heard you say that your doctor told you you were no longer viable,
Viable. I said, what does that mean medically?
give
He
me
said,
a break.
childbearing. And then
Oh,
I said, go, your husband's going to chase a 20-year-old. This is the way it is. Women naturally decline. But you know what I have to say,
so
Dr.
do
Lovely, is that
dudes.
right, but they can still, I guess, produce
Well,
life.
some of them
But
can.
that is the crux of what medical, when you go to medical school,
Hmm.
this is what they train you. This
Hmm.
is what, when you are no longer childbearing, you're no longer viable. But what I have learned now, I would not have threatened to kick him in the crotch if it would have happened to me today, because I know now that
Yes.
it's true.
Yeah.
But you don't have to suffer through it. I
Yeah.
know now that medically,
Yeah.
women are not viable medically after
Yeah.
no longer childbearing. It doesn't insult me anymore because now I know that there are things to do.
Yes.
And I know, and I'm happy to share with women that they can challenge politely, if
Yeah.
or not,
Or
their
not.
doctors.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Well, this is,
most just, you know what, there is such a huge community of medical professionals that have the courage to
yes.
say they
Hmm.
don't know what they don't know,
Yep.
and that these old studies that we're looking at have been debunked.
Yeah.
And which
That's
is
right.
really big for I think doctors to say that we don't know.
I know
And we,
it's very you're very right. Doctors were not trained in this system. You have to have the time and interest to step out of what you were trained in and learn yourself how to do this right. And it's true that most of the pretty much all the doctors I know are too very, very, very busy. And so to
mhm,
take the time when you're already feeling overwhelmed and overloaded, and you may very well be a woman in perimenopause that is doctoring other women in perimenopause and menopause and saying, I can help you or I can't, right? Hopefully, what I like to say to my patients, Kim, is I say, ask the questions because the more patients, the more women that show up asking these questions, the more that doctor is going to go, I'm really missing a data set here.
mhm.
I need to go back to school. I need to take a weekend
Hopefully.
seminar. Yes, hopefully. And I think that is changing. I think that
It
is
is
changing.
changing. We
Yeah.
have oncologists. We have several breast cancer survivors that have a testosterone pellet
Yep.
because we work in tandem with their oncologists. But they have to be oncologists that have some recent
Recent
studying
is
or
right.
technology
Yep.
knowledge, because
Yes.
every every single one of them was told you can never take any hormones,
Yep.
which is not accurate.
Yeah.
You dodged a
That's right.
bullet. Be just happy to be alive. No, no, no.
Oh,
You can definitely do. So there are some out there who are willing to learn new things, which is wonderful, but not a lot. I had a female cardiologist tell
hmm.
me,
Yes.
she said, I cannot take, she was cool sculpting actually. And I said, listen, I said, this laxity is because
Yeah.
of a hormone deficiency. Let's do your
Yes.
blood work. I promise you, this will go away. I
Hmm.
said, I don't want you to do this anymore. I need you to, just come with me. And she said, no, 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 I can't take testosterone. I'll be mannish. And I said, she was a cardiologist.
Wow, really?
Mhm.
Oh, Leah.
And I think she
Okay.
was a few years
So,
younger than I am,
okay,
which
so she
maybe not. I said, do you find me mannish? Like, I was doing this for 10 years.
well, and
Please.
there's a statistic about women and testosterone. I believe that when we're cycling, we've got more testosterone than any of other hormones, but that's just something that's been left out of the information around menopause. Just for whoever's listening, Kim and I are aware of this, but testosterone and heart health go hand in hand regardless of gender. And just to address something you said earlier, viability is related to childbearing only. Women and men both age, but women's health is special in that medicine and research tends to look at us in terms of can we bear a child or not? And when we can
Mm-hmm.
no longer bear a child, typically, traditionally, we are now left out of the research. We are left out of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as medicine is concerned, a woman's worth is connected to her ability to have a man's penis inside of her and
Mm-hmm.
to be reproductive. And that is
Exactly.
as bare bones as I can get with
Yep.
that.
And you're 100% right. That was explained to me many times.
Yeah. And it's
And
gross when we look at it that way, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is. It is. It is so limiting, and it's not being tolerated anymore because, as we said
No.
earlier, women are living
Yep.
longer,
Yes.
and
And and
we're in such a health conscious age.
yes, and we're out there shouting from the rooftops because
Yeah.
you and I have been through the journey and we've
Mm-hmm.
seen the other side and we I just said to my husband the other day, I said, this is just getting good. Like, bring it. This is so
Oh, so
fun.
good. I know. It's so good. It's so much fun. It is so good. I have
Yeah.
been so fortunate to be chosen to be the person that so many women feel comfortable confiding in. And it is a privilege that
I
I
agree.
take very seriously, because that would it really is. It's changed the course of my life for sure. I never intended to share it with anybody. It just kept happening and
Yeah.
happening, and now I'm so thankful to
Yeah.
be able to share it.
Me too. And it is very much a privilege to talk to women about their health. I agree. I
When
didn't see
they
that
feel
one coming for
comfortable
me
to
either.
right? When they feel comfortable enough to
Yeah.
share these things with you,
Yep.
it's a privilege,
It
I
sure
think.
is. It sure is. Some of us are meant to be the carriers of the stories. And I guess you and I are in that
Oh
category,
yeah.
Kim.
I'm happy to do it.
And I love it. I love it
Yeah,
too.
it's a lot of fun.
It is indeed. Now tell me, where there will be people listening that are like, where can I find out more about serotonin? Where can I find out more about you? Can you please share that?
Yes, Serotonin Centers, plural.com.
Awesome. Awesome. You got one in Canada yet?
Not yet, but we're coming.
Yay! Call me. Call me when it's time,
Oh
please.
yes, we have many, many locations nationwide. We're gonna be there. I
Amazing.
promise you.
They're all over the United States. Is that what you're telling
Yes,
me?
yes.
Awesome. Okay. And
Hmm.
people can find their location. Most of the listeners of the show, Kim, are from the United States. So if someone's listening, no matter where she is, she can go to serotonincenters.com and
Yes,
find out if there's a
yes,
provider.
yes. And I promise you, if you want to get in touch directly with me, I will be happy to talk to you,
Oh,
help you, or just listen. Because
I love
I
that.
like it. It's a lot of fun. I have to say, it really is. And
Yeah.
to be able to have this little secret. I was on the phone with a woman yesterday, and
Yes.
and she felt so hopeless. And I said, I can help you. And she just, or there's help for you, not me. I don't mean to say me. There is help. There's here. And then I gave her all these resources, and she got her blood work back, and she was so happy. And that just makes me so happy
Yep.
to
Yep.
share that.
To do that, to be that person. I know so many times I've sat with a woman while we look at her blood work together and she bursts into tears. She says, "Is that why I feel so bad?" Like, yeah.
Hmm.
And then the
Yeah.
next question is usually, how come my doctor didn't tell me that? So,
Yeah.
but that's another conversation. Well,
Oh yeah. We're working with a few gynecologists now. They refer to us.
amazing. And
I
they
don't do
should
it, but
be.
you need it. But we just don't do it. They do pap smears
Yep.
and
Yep.
mammograms and things like that. So,
Yep.
so it's definitely becoming more mainstream,
Which
and
is
I'm so
amazing.
happy. Yeah.
I'm totally here for it.
Yep. But you have to get your blood work done. You have to advocate for yourself. You have
Yep.
got to do it. And
I
it is
agree.
available. And you were saying earlier, testosterone, it's hard to get. It isn't. We can get it. And if you're persistent,
Yep.
you can get to it. And I wouldn't
Maybe
listen to anybody that tells you you can't.
you can't. I think maybe what I should have said, Kim, was it can be a difficult thing to get from your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Because
I'll put it that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they'll
From your
immediately
GP.
say because they'll say you're fine because
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
ill
Yes. You're
at the
not
time.
ill. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that
Okay.
that's what doctors
I
either
do.
you're ill or
Yeah.
you're
Oh, yeah.
not. So yes, I'm
Yeah.
not ill, but I'm
Yeah. But I'm not
drowning,
thriving.
drowning.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
to thrive. And in
Yeah.
fact, it takes a minute to get there. We got to get up from the basement that says when we're feeling so bad, we just got to feel okay. We got to start sleeping again. We got to start
Oh, the
tending to our
sleep.
mental health. Oh, I know. I know. Progesterone saved my ass so many
Oh
times.
yeah. So good.
I think, and I actually just did a solo episode for the show where I proposed the idea that women by the age of 40, all women by the age of 40 should be offered progesterone if they're not sleeping well and or they've noticed a shift in their moods and or depression, anxiety coming in
Mm-hmm. Oh,
before anything else like antidepressants, etc. And
of course.
I will challenge anybody who says that's not the right way to
Mm-hmm.
do things. I
Mm-hmm.
just feel that decline of progesterone is such, that's really the kickoff for the perimenopausal stuff that comes
Mm-hmm.
along, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
And there's
something
so
to think
many
about.
other things now. Once you delve into this, we deal a lot with peptides. I mean,
Mm.
peptides are amino acids, building blocks of protein in your body.
Hmm.
So wonderful. NAD. Are
Hmm.
you familiar with
Oh, yeah.
NAD?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yep.
what a game changer.
It really is. We are in a very new era of women and in health, biology, human
Hmm.
biology. We're in a very new era of human biology, and we can deal with the menopausal symptoms far better than we ever have been able to and understand them, but also then support the biology for long term, for longevity,
Hmm.
for health
Hmm.
span, for all of those
Hmm.
things. I'm absolutely here for it, Kim.
And it's so important too, not only individually, but for your community, because if we all just wither away, we're just going to be a strain, on
Mhm.
our society, on Social Security, on all. We're going to really just be ill, and
Yeah.
in the medical community, it's just going to be a massive. This population, women,
Mhm.
just a drain on our society. Instead of, how about being thriving
Yes.
individuals that are contributing
Yes.
to society? Wouldn't
I
that be so
liked
much better?
so much better and to not have to suffer through the frailty of being a senior. That is something
Oh yeah.
many of us have seen in our
Oh,
ancestors.
yeah.
Imagine the world. This is one of my favorite things to think about. Imagine the world if the thriving women in menopause are running the show.
Oh my God. That
Isn't
that's a
that so
beautiful
good?
thought. I often say men have been hogging the testosterone for way too long.
Oh yeah.
Way too
Way
long.
too long. I saw a post with Lenny Kravitz some time ago in the last few years where he literally said, the men have had their chance. It's time for the ladies to take over.
It is.
And I don't
It
know how
is.
you feel, but if Lenny's talking, I'm listening.
Oh, for sure.
He's like
Oh,
61 and
100%. Isn't that amazing?
he's super hunky. Like he's as hunky now,
He
hunkier
is
now.
definitely optimized. I'll tell
Yeah,
you right now.
I agree. Oh yeah, someone's paying attention to that for sure. Okay, on that note, Kim, thank you so much for bringing your expertise to the show. I know that what you've delivered here for us is going to be so helpful for a lot of women. And I have a final question I ask my guests on the show, which I'd like to ask you now. And that is this: knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Be yourself. I find women hide away. We hide our pain and we hide our needs. Be yourself. Don't shrivel up to everything and everybody around you. Stand up straight. Because
Love
I
it.
know I didn't for a long time.
You do,
And
you're
now
catching up now.
this is not my livelihood. This is my life
Yeah.
now. And I would pick her right up, that inner child. I would say, get up, let's go.
Let's go.
Don't stand up straight. I would say, put your shoulders back until your
Yes.
shoulders like meet in the back. I would say,
Yeah.
chin up.
I gotta sit up straight now when you say that.
That's
Okay.
right. Oh, that's a big thing too. Set up, and too,
Yeah.
with all the of course the bone health and all that, but your posture. I noticed that women who are optimized, they stand up straight. I would tell her, stand up straight, stand up straight.
Yeah, I love it. Kim Casaburi, thank you for joining me on the Not Sure About This Menopause podcast.
It was my pleasure.
The information and other content provided in this show, or in any linked materials, is not intended and should not be construed as medical advice, nor is the information a substitute for professional medical expertise or treatment. We are doctors, but we aren't your doctor. Seek your doctor's opinion. If you or any other person has a medical concern, you should consult with your healthcare provider or seek other professional medical treatment. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something that you have heard in this podcast or in any linked materials. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or emergency services immediately. The opinions and views expressed on this page and in this show have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, health practice, or other institution. Thank you.